Creating extraordinary success in business and life is absolutely possible. That means more income, more freedom, and more energy for what you value most without the hustle or burnout. I'm Laura Flood, certified success and high performance coach, CEO for over 30 years, and a multiple seven-figure entrepreneur. I've built a profitable, sustainable business while prioritizing my family, my health, and my happiness, and I'm here to help you do the same. This is the Redefining Success Podcast, where I'll share the strategies, tools, and the mindset shifts to help you grow with intention, live a life you love, and create lasting happiness, wealth, and freedom without losing yourself in the process. Let's dive in. Have you ever achieved everything that you've set out to do? The income, the clients, the recognition, and still felt like something was missing? Maybe your success looks incredible on paper, but behind the scenes, you're stretched thin, pulled in a dozen directions, and quietly thinking, I thought it would feel better than this. I've seen this over and over again in my clients, and I've lived it too. It's the quiet truth that most successful people don't talk about. After more than 30 years in business, I've learned that the real measure of success isn't how much you achieve, but how aligned, intentional, and sustainable your success feels while you're achieving it. That realization is what led me to develop the Redefining Success Method. It's the framework that I use in my own business and with every client that I coach. This framework helps high achievers build what I call a life-first business, one that's profitable, productive, and deeply fulfilling without sacrificing health, relationships, or freedom along the way. So if you've built success that looks good, but it doesn't always feel good, this episode will help you realign how you work, lead, and live. Let's dive in. Early in my real estate career, I chased every opportunity. More clients, more listings, more awards. I had built a really successful business, but I was constantly working, even when I didn't want to admit it. I'll never forget the day my husband asked, "Are you done working yet?" That question stopped me because the truth was I never was. I had built a business that consumed my life instead of supporting it. And that moment of clarity forced me to rebuild everything, to finally design success around what mattered most. And everything I learned through that season became the structure for this framework. The Redefining Success Method is not theory. It's a tested strategy. It's a system that helps ambitious entrepreneurs create wealth and freedom and enjoy their lives. Pillar 1, mindset mastery and identity evolution. You can't create new results with the same identity that built your current success. I worked with a client who told me, I know I'm successful, but I'm tired of feeling like everything depends on me. On the outside, her business looked flawless. She had consistent income, great reputation, dream clients, but underneath, she carried all the weight of being the one who always had to hold it together. She didn't just run her business, she carried it. Every outcome, every client, every team decision felt like a reflection of her value. And even when things were going well, she couldn't relax. As we worked together, she realized her identity was still tied to proving instead of trusting. She felt like she had to prove she could do it all, proving she could keep it together, proving that she deserved her success. And that mindset had served her once. It got her there, but now it was keeping her stuck in the same cycle. So we redefined success. We built a new identity, one based on choice, not pressure. So she began to measure progress by peace, not productivity. She started asking herself, does this decision move me closer to the life I want? Instead of asking herself, how much more can I fit in today? Within a few months, she had her most profitable quarter and her calmest one. Because when you stop earning your worth through your work, your results finally start working for you. This is what I call the identity gap. It's the space between who you've been, the achiever, the driver, the builder, and who you're becoming, the visionary, the leader, and the guide. So when that gap widens, it feels like tension. You feel it as restlessness, resistance, or burnout. It's not a lack of motivation. It's just that misalignment between your identity and your next level. So the question isn't, what do I need to do next? It's who am I becoming? Because when you see yourself differently, you make different decisions automatically. Most high achievers, they don't realize that they're still operating under the identity that created their first success, the one that built on effort, urgency, and self-reliance. That's why they can't experience ease, delegation, or peace. Their subconscious identity hasn't caught up to their current level of success. So this is the inner work that creates outer freedom. Ask yourself, who am I when I'm no longer proving? How would you describe yourself without your achievements, your titles, or your roles? Who are you when you're not earning your worth? What part of my old identity no longer fits? Maybe it's the fixer, the workhorse, the people pleaser, or the always available leader. Name it and then release it. Who is your next level self? What do you believe about time, money, and success? How do they protect your energy? And how do they make decisions? And what does that next level version of you no longer tolerate? So what boundaries, patterns, or distractions are not coming with you in your next season? Now it's important to anchor that. Choose one micro action that aligns with your upgraded identity. Maybe it's declining a misaligned client. It could be blocking off Fridays for deep work or family time. Maybe it's letting your team lead a meeting without you. The action doesn't have to be big. It just has to match who you're becoming. Ask yourself, who do I need to become to live the life that I want? And write down that version of you, how they think, decide, and act, and really start to show up as that person today. Identity work can be uncomfortable because it really requires us letting go of who we had to be to survive. But when we do, everything else feels lighter. Decisions get clearer, opportunities expand, and business becomes an extension of your confidence, not your obligation. So this is really the foundation of redefining success. It's not just thinking differently, but becoming someone who no longer chases it. Pillar 2, focus, discipline, and energy. If identity is who you're becoming, focus is how you get there. Most high achievers don't struggle because they lack ambition. They struggle because their attention is fragmented. They're spread across projects, platforms, and people, and they're constantly switching gears. And they always wonder why they feel like they're always in motion, but rarely in momentum. Focus isn't a time problem, it's an intention problem. I recently worked with a client who said, "Laura, I know what to do. I just can't seem to follow through." And she was brilliant. She was capable and she was organized, but her attention was divided. She would start one task, check her phone, then respond to a client, then shift onto another project. And by the end of the day, she was exhausted and frustrated. She would tell herself that she just needed to try harder tomorrow. But this wasn't about effort, it was about focus leaks. So we didn't add another strategy. We created what I call a focus filter. She identified her top 3 priorities, one of them for business growth, one for relationships, and one for personal energy. So every decision, task, or request had to pass through that filter. If it didn't align, it didn't get her attention that day. So within a week, she said she's doing less, but she's finally moving forward again. Focus isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing the right things with full presence. And here's the pattern that I see with high achievers. They treat focus like a switch. Either it's on or it's off. But focus is really a system. Focus equals clarity times commitment. So clarity gives you direction. Commitment keeps you there long enough to see results. When clarity fades, commitment weakens. And when the commitment starts to waver, the distractions feel louder. So the more scattered your focus becomes, the more energy you lose. Managing your attention is also managing your energy. So try this structure for the next 7 days. I want you to define your focus zones. Choose 3 categories that matter most right now. So for example, that could look like growth, service, and health. Anything outside those zones becomes optional. Each morning, identify 3 needle-moving priorities, 1 per zone. Not a to-do list. You need 3 outcomes. And for at least just 1 hour a day, turn off notifications, close those extra tabs, and really give your full attention to one single project. Most people don't need more hours. They need one focused hour that actually counts. And at the end of the day, ask yourself, what mattered most today? And did I give it my full focus? This question alone will retrain your brain to value depth over speed. I recently coached a marketing agency owner who worked 10-hour days and felt like she was constantly behind. She implemented the focus filter, really identifying her 3 highest value priorities each day. Her categories were income, relationships, and personal energy. By week 2, she said that she was accomplishing more by noon than she used to in a full day. And that's really the power of focus. Focus is the bridge between clarity and momentum. When your attention is scattered, your results will be too. Your ability to focus is really your greatest competitive edge in a world built for distraction. So you don't need to do more. You need to decide what matters most and protect it fiercely. Because when your focus aligns with your energy, everything compounds: your creativity, your profit, your impact, and your peace. Pillar 3, time, productivity, and boundaries. Real freedom comes from structure. And once I systematized my business with workflows, templates, and really clear client boundaries, I gained back nearly 15 hours a week. My income didn't drop, it increased. If focus determines what you give your attention to, boundaries determine how you protect it. Most high achievers know how to fill a calendar, but often they haven't learned how to own it. I've coached countless leaders who built successful businesses, but felt trapped by them. Every hour was spoken for, every day reactive instead of intentional. They were managing everyone else's priorities while theirs sat waiting for someday. Owning your time isn't about scheduling more. It's about designing your days around what truly matters: the work, the relationships, and the recovery that actually move the needle. I worked with a client who ran a thriving company, but she felt constantly behind. Her schedule looked impressive, but there was no white space. She just kept jumping from meeting to meeting, messages to deadlines, telling herself always that it was just the season. So we reviewed her calendar together, and she realized she hadn't built a business that gave her time freedom. She built one that consumed it. We rebuilt her week from the inside out. She time-blocked strategy and decision-making instead of filling every hour with calls. She started to delegate anything that didn't require her expertise, and she stopped treating every email as urgent. By the end of the month, she said, for the first time in years, she felt in control. Her revenue didn't change, but her results did. She finally had space to think, to lead, and rest, and that changed everything for her. Here are 3 shifts that I teach around time and performance. Number 1, replace activity with intention. Just because you're busy doesn't mean that you're moving forward. Number 2, treat time as your highest investment. Every yes costs you something, so make sure it aligns with your goals. And number 3, plan your week like a CEO, not an employee. Schedule your priorities before everyone else's. The right structure doesn't limit you, it liberates you. Structure is what allows you to step out of survival mode and lead from strategy. When your calendar reflects your values, you stop feeling pulled in every direction. You begin leading your days instead of reacting to them. I would love for you to try this for 1 week. Audit your time honestly. For 3 days, write down where your hours go. No judgment, just data. And then redesign your schedule. Build your calendar around 3 categories: focus, freedom, and fulfillment. Focus is your deep strategic work. Freedom is rest, movement, and space. And fulfillment is relationships, joy, and meaning. And then I would love for you to protect one boundary this week. Choose a single rule that honors your time. Maybe it's no calls before 9 a.m. or no emails after 6, or Fridays are for strategy only. Boundaries are really habits of self-respect. When you keep them, it will change how you show up for everything else. When your time aligns with your priorities, your life finally aligns with your purpose. Structure gives you clarity, boundaries give you peace. And the way that you protect your time determines the quality of your success. You don't need to fit more in. You need to make space for what actually matters. One of my clients, a high-performing realtor, implemented the same structure. She stopped answering client messages after 7 p.m. She automated her follow-up systems and delegated her admin tasks. Within 30 days, she felt balanced for the first time in years. So when you're auditing your calendar this week, if it doesn't serve your top priorities, either systematize it or let it go. Boundaries don't limit growth, they protect it. And structure isn't restrictive. It's really what gives you the freedom that you've been chasing. Pillar number 4 of the Redefining Success Method is sustainable success and business strategy. You can have the best mindset and the sharpest focus, but without sustainable strategy, success will always feel heavier than it needs to. Sustainability isn't about slowing down. It's about creating systems, offers, and rhythms that support growth without constantly requiring more from you. A business built to last is one that runs with clarity, consistency, and calm, not constant hustle. I worked with a client last year who ran a multi-six-figure consulting business. She had an incredible reputation and she always had a steady stream of clients, but she was exhausted. And it felt like every month she was rebuilding her revenue from scratch. When I asked her to walk me through her business model, she laughed and said, honestly, it's me just doing everything. So we didn't add anything new, we simplified. She streamlined her offers into one signature service, built a repeatable client process, and created a renewal structure so happy clients could continue working with her long term. Within 6 months, she was earning more, working less, and she finally had predictable income that didn't depend on her being on all the time. Scaling isn't success, but sustaining it is. Sustainability happens when your business becomes simple enough to scale, but strong enough to last. When your business model aligns with your top priorities, you stop building from pressure and you start building from purpose. You create a rhythm that supports your next level instead of draining the one you have now. That's what sustainable success feels like. It feels light, clear, and completely under your control. A sustainable business grows with you, not against you. It evolves as you do, supporting your time, your energy, and your priorities. So here are the 3 areas I help clients refine when we work together to build a life-first strategy. First of all, we look at systems that will save you time. We automate what's repetitive, document what's manual, and systems, they don't replace people, they support them. We also work on creating offers that reflect the season of business that you're in. So every chapter of your business requires a different level of commitment. So we want you to align what you sell with how you want to live right now, not how you worked 5 years ago. We work on a plan to build revenue that feels predictable. Peace of mind comes from consistency. And when you can balance recurring income with creative growth, then you can scale without starting over each month. When your business is supported by clear systems, focused offers, and reliable revenue, then you gain the freedom to make decisions from strategy instead of stress. So here's a simple strategy reset exercise if you'd like to take this one step further. Take 10 minutes this week to reflect on these questions. I want you to look at your business model through a life-first lens. So ask yourself, does this model align with how you want to live? And with that current business model, can you scale it without you having to put more hours in? Does it still excite you? Do you enjoy doing it? And what's working well without you forcing it? Growth that flows easily is really showing you what's aligned. This is an important question I have to ask my clients a lot. Where are you overcomplicating success? Look for the areas where your effort feels heavy or chaotic, and these are often signs of misalignment, not of failure. What would make your business feel lighter? Sometimes it's one system, one hire, or just one more simple offer. How much of your income depends on your direct effort? If your revenue stops when you do, then it's really time to create some leverage. And that's exactly what I do with Redefining Success Coaching. The goal isn't to build bigger, it's to build better. Pillar number 5, joy, fulfillment, and redefining success. At some point, success has to mean more than checking another box. Achievement means very little if it drains the joy from your life. The best results are the ones that feel as good as they look. One of the biggest shifts my clients experience is when they stop measuring success only by achievement and they start to measure it by how fulfilled they feel living every day. I worked with a CEO who had built everything she thought she wanted. She had an incredible business, a strong team, financial freedom, but she was always running on empty. When we first started working together, she said, "I achieved everything I planned for, but I can't remember the last time I felt genuinely happy." Her calendar was full, but her life felt small. So we didn't overhaul her business or start from scratch. We stopped chasing growth for a moment and we really focused on what felt good again. So we restructured her schedule to create space for clarity. She began reintroducing the things that fueled her. She planned more travel, dinner with friends, some creative outlets, even rest without guilt. Within weeks, her energy changed. She was lighter, sharper, more creative. Her team noticed, her clients noticed, and her business actually grew because she was leading from fulfillment instead of fatigue. When you're aligned, you perform at your best. And when you're fulfilled, you actually want to keep building. That's sustainable success. The ultimate goal of all of this is fulfillment, feeling genuinely happy, healthy, and wealthy. A private client once told me that she had not taken off a single full week in years. She was afraid that everything would fall apart without her. So we created a leadership plan. We prepped her team, and she finally booked a 2-week vacation. When she returned from vacation, she said that she didn't just survive. Her business didn't just survive, it thrived. And that's the power of redefining success. When you feel good, you perform better. You make clearer decisions, you lead with compassion, and you attract better opportunities. Here's what I teach about integrating joy and fulfillment into your definition of success. Number 1, redefine productivity. Doing less can actually be the most productive decision you make if it allows you to show up at your best. Number 2, protect your presence. Be where your feet are. When you're home, be home. When you're working, be intentional. Fulfillment lives in presence, not in perfection. And number 3, prioritize your peace. Check in with yourself. Will this decision move me closer to the life that I actually want? Because fulfillment really is the highest form of success. When you feel joy in what you're building and peace in how you're living, you've already won. Redefining success isn't about doing less. It's about doing what matters most and feeling good while you're doing it. Your business can grow and still give you time to breathe. You can lead at a high level and still have space for what fills your life with meaning. You can make money, impact, and memories all at the same time. That's the new standard, and that's redefining success. This week, I would love for you to schedule one thing that brings you joy and put it on your calendar first. Let's take a few minutes and bring this all back together. These are the 5 pillars of the Redefining Success Method. It's the foundation for creating a business that supports your best life instead of consuming it. Number one is mindset mastery and identity evolution. Everything really begins here, before the strategy, before the systems. This is how you think, how you lead, and how you make decisions each day that matter most. It's leading from clarity and conviction instead of pressure or comparison. The moment you start thinking and making decisions like your next level self, success starts catching up fast. When you lead from belief instead of doubt, everything changes: your focus, your energy, and your results. Number two is focus, discipline, and energy. Your focus and energy are everything. They determine what actually moves forward and what drains you. Time is so limited, but energy is renewable if you protect it. When you manage both like the assets they are, you stop reacting and you start leading with intention. If you haven't listened to episode 6 yet, go back and give it a listen. We really dig deep into how to protect your energy, sharpen your focus, and create the kind of momentum that actually lasts. Number three, time, productivity, and boundaries. This is where you finally feel in control again, where everything starts to feel organized and intentional. Boundaries aren't restrictions. They're how you protect your time, your focus, your freedom, and your sanity. And structure gives you confidence because you know what matters most. It keeps you grounded, it helps you stay consistent when things get chaotic, and it really lets you move through your days with focus instead of stress. When your days are intentional, freedom stops being something you chase, and it becomes how you live. Number four, sustainable success and business strategy. You don't need to do more. You need to do more of what matters most. When you simplify, you create space to scale. This is where clarity replaces chaos, and you finally see how to grow without burning out. Strategy doesn't have to be complicated. It just needs to be consistent and aligned. And number five, probably the most important pillar, joy, fulfillment, and redefining success. Success should feel aligned with the life you actually want. It should be intentional, fulfilling, something that you wake up excited for, not something that you have to recover from. Joy isn't the reward, it's the reason. When your business feels good, everything else falls into place. This is how you build a business that's profitable, purposeful, and built to last, one that supports the life that you actually want. If something in this episode made you stop and think about what you really want next, start with my Redefining Success Life First Business Reset. It's a short, powerful training that walks you through this method step by step and really will help you realign your mindset, your energies, and your priorities so you can create growth that actually feels good. The reset is about an hour, and this mini course can completely shift the way you work, the way you live, and the way you lead. You can find it at lauraflood.com/reset or in the show notes below. And if you're ready for ongoing support, strategy, and accountability to stay consistent all year long, join us inside the Redefining Success Collective. It's built for high achievers and entrepreneurs who want to scale smarter, lead with more clarity and confidence, and build a business that gives them more time for what actually matters. Inside, you'll get monthly high-performance and business strategy trainings, quarterly Q&A calls for personalized coaching and support, and private coaching calls are available anytime at members-only pricing. So this allows you to book a call anytime you need any extra support. You also get access to a growing library of systems, tools, and frameworks that will help you work less and accomplish more. If this conversation inspired you to look at success a little differently, share it with someone who's ready for that shift too. The right message at the right moment can change everything. And make sure to follow and subscribe to the Redefining Success Podcast. New episodes drop every Thursday. Next week, we're diving into the confidence advantage, how high achievers lead with certainty and conviction. It's going to be a great one. Until then, stay focused, protect your energy, and keep building a business and life that make you happy, healthy, and wealthy. I would love for you to help me grow this movement of redefining success. Leave a 5-star review, a screenshot before you hit submit, and DM or email it to support@lauraflood.com. You'll be entered to win a 1-year membership to the collective. Plus, I'm also giving away 2 private 45-minute coaching calls. All of the details are in the show notes for you.